Hey guys, good evening. Thanks for joining. So in the last class, we discussed about cryptography concept, and there we discussed about what is symmetric and what is asymmetric, and also we discussed about what is hybrid cryptography. Then we have seen about what is mutual TLS authentication mechanism. Then also we have discussed about what is integrity and also integrity depending on several parameters like hashing algorithms. Then second one is HMAC. Third one is digital certificates. And finally, we discussed about SSL certificates. So that's what we discussed yesterday. In the today class, we'll discuss about WAF, Web Application Firewall. If time permits, I will explain about WASP Top 10 as well. So that is the agenda for today class. Let's start. So Web Application Firewall. So in this one, as we discussed previously, like vulnerability management, EDR, DLP, encryption, HDS, HAPS, file integrity monitoring. Same process will follow, like what is sales team will do, what is pre-sales team will do, what is design, and what is implementation level we have to take care. Finally, operational support whenever any instance or else will come. So let's start. First of all, what is the importance of web application firewall? What is the definition of the web application firewall? It will prevent or block. First, it will monitor application traffic, and it will prevent and block OWSP top 10 attacks. So that is nothing but application layer 7 attacks as per OSI reference model. So that is web application firewall. So it will monitor the application traffic, whatever HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, so HTTP request and HTTP response related traffic. And whenever any abnormal or malicious activities happen, it will prevent as well as block. Not just for blocking, even it will alert also. So prevent, block, and alert as well. So I'll put that alert as well. In case if it is suspecting something, it will alert as well. Alert and block. Which attacks? WASP top 10 category of the attacks. So what is WASP top 10? It is nothing but it's based on application layer 7 attacks as per OSI reference model. So that is web application firewall. Now what is the licensing it will do? Or how we can measure the licensing? Application. So here applications level traffic it will monitor. So we have to consider applications as all the licensing part. Vulnerability management licensing is based on number of servers list or based on number of IPs. In the similar way, all the endpoint security or endpoint protection based on how many number of endpoints are existing or based on how many number of IPs list. Now on the web application firewall side, licensing will be little bit different. So how we can measure or how we can calculate licensing whenever if you want to purchase any web application firewall. First point is total number of end users in the organization level. So that is the first point. In the organization level, especially for internal application. So how many number of end users we do have? So that count we have to calculate. Second one is total number of applications. Those applications combination of both internal as well as internet facing. Internal and internet facing applications. So we have to calculate these two. How many internal applications are existing and who are all using that particular applications. In the similar way, how many internet facing applications we do have, combination with internal employees and also external public as well. So that is called internet facing. Third one, what we have to consider, application throughput. So application throughput meaning here, what is the bandwidth of the overall? Okay, so input as well as output level. So everything we have to calculate that application throughput. It's a bandwidth side. Next one is maximum number of sessions. Maximum number of application sessions. How many number of sessions maximum count, not okay. So minimum count, not average count. Overall maximum number of count of the sessions. Okay, so it is acceptable. So that maximum number of sessions we have to calculate. Next one is maximum number of concurrent sessions of the applications. Meaning here, one application, concurrent means parallel, okay, or simultaneously. You and me are accessing same application simultaneously. That one we can call it as a concurrent. Okay, so example, I'm accessing Facebook and other people also are accessing Facebook. Then we can consider that particular session as a concurrent session. So maximum number of concurrent sessions of the applications. How many parallel sessions are established? So based on these 5 parameters, now if we are giving that particular overall number of the count in the numbers wise, respect to vendors like Akamai or Barracuda or Imperva or AWS WAF or Azure Application Gateway or Citrix or Portigate. So these vendors, they can go and they can see what is the suitable model number for us based on this count. Example, total number of end users are 1 lakh. And total number of applications, example 100, combination of both internal as well as external. Application throughput is 10 GB. Okay. Maximum number of application sessions, example maybe 50,000 sessions. And maximum number of concurrent sessions, 10,000 per second. So if we are providing these count to the respective vendor, now vendor will provide suitable model number to us according to our requirement. Example, if you want to purchase any mobile or any laptop, you will provide your prerequisites to them. Like example, I need 4 GB RAM, 250 GB hard disk. Okay, so in the similar i7 processor I need. So these are your requirement, and according to that requirement, so in the Flipkart or Amazon, maybe in the physical as well, we can go and we can purchase the suitable laptop to us. Same way, if we are providing our prerequisites to the respective vendor, so vendor, they have their own model numbers, and which is suitable model number for us, they can provide based on our input. They can provide respective model number device to us. So that is the way how the licensing should be. Not only this one, even for firewall side, proxy, network IDS, network IPS, even SIM tool also. So little bit here and there, some changes will be there, but this is the way how the licenses should be. Okay. So that's called licensing part. Next one is deployment or design.
Sir, one small doubt.
Yeah, please.
Using concurrent application means like with the same credentials in
Not
other
same
devices?
credentials. No. So your credentials are different, my credentials are different, but you are accessing the Facebook application, I'm accessing the Facebook application. Then in that scenario, so your session is 1 session and my session is 1 session. Total number of sessions are 2. So these 2 sessions we can call it the concurrent, not with the same credentials, even with the different credentials as well. Clear?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. 1 second. Sorry, guys. So next one is deployment or design. So how we can design or deploy this particular web application firewall. So deployment method name is called inline method. So this is the method we can use to deploy web application firewall method. In case, what is inline method meaning here? So whatever ISP router interface as per network architecture diagram, hope everybody remember network architecture diagram. So from ISP router, we will give one of the interface to our next generation firewall. In the similar way, from ISP router, we can give one of the interface to web application firewall as well. So in case web application firewall is going down, some outage will be there. So that is called inline method. So in between two devices, or so if something is going down, some impact will be there related to business. That is called inline method. Okay. So this is the way how we can deploy. And coming to implementation side, what are the implementation methods we have? One is hardware based. Nothing but we can purchase hardware model numbers. That's what I said previously, licensing point of view as well. So we have hardware based solution, even SaaS based solutions as well. So these are the two different types of solutions. Hardware based, it's like one physical device should be existing. That physical device we have to deploy in our DMZ zone. In case if it is on-premise or data center side, in case a cloud environment, we have to deploy in the after ISP router basically. So this is the way how we can deploy our respective web application firewall. One is hardware-based deployment. Second one is SaaS-based deployment. Software as a service. Nowadays, each and every vendor, it is supporting SaaS-based tool also. Now, what are the policies we have to configure in web application firewall? What are WASP top 10 category of the attacks? Because web application firewall, it is a preventing and blocking application layer 7 attack. Those attacks, we can call it WASP top 10 or SANS top 25. So each and every attack policy we have to create. Couple of policies like, example, SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting attack. Under cross-site scripting attack, once again, we have subtypes we have. Like example, stored cross-site scripting attack, reflected cross-site scripting attack, DOM-based cross-site scripting attack. In the similar way, we have CSRF attack, or click jacking attack, or one-click attack. Okay, so that is nothing but cross-site request forgery or XSRF. So these are all the so many names are existing for this one. Okay, related to so cross-site scripting attack, cross-site request forgery. So that is third one. Then we have to create other policies like a DOS. DOS attack is applicable to even application side as well. Don't think that so DOS and DDoS is applicable to dedicatedly on the server side, like a network layer and transport layer. Even DOS and DDoS is applicable to application side as well. Application DOS and DDoS also existing. So we have to create DOS and DDoS policy. So like a rate limit or throttling, we have to define basically part of our WASP top 10 side. The next one, we have to create broken authentication, broken access control, buffer overflow, server-side request forgery, yeah. So man in the middle attack, session hijacking, all these will fall under the policies we have to configure. Now, so whether you want to monitor or whether we have to block or whether we have to allow the respective traffic, we have to define the action as well. So what are the actions web application firewall will do? So it will do blocking of the malicious content whenever it is existing in the application side. Second one is, so it will allow the respective traffic whenever it is a non-malicious content or legitimate site. Third one is alert. So tool will suspect that is a malicious content is existing and it will generate the alert notification. So these are all the different types of actions will be done by our web application firewall. Same thing we discussed part of EDR tool as well. So what EDR tool will do, actions related. So we have block, we have clean, we have allow, we have quarantine. So we have alert. So these are all the things part of our EDR tool side. So same way, even web application firewall also will do couple of actions based on the traffic, whatever it is coming on the application inbound as well as application outbound side. So those actions are allow, block, and alert. Even monitor also can keep separate actions in web application firewall. One is monitor, second one is alert, third one is block, fourth one is allow. So these are all the actions will be done by web application firewall. But how these actions will be done, based on what parameter? So how it will detect, and it will consider as it's a malicious content or legitimate or illegitimate or non-malicious or abnormal or suspicious application traffic. So how it will detect and identify? So backend detection methods are WAF detection methods. One is signature based. Second one is machine learning or artificial intelligence or deep learning or historical analysis. Based on these parameters, now our web application firewall can detect the malicious content, and either it will do monitoring of the traffic, alerting of the traffic, blocking of the application traffic, or allowing of the traffic. So these are the different detection methods. As I said earlier also, so these two detection methods are common for each and every tool. So that may be EDR, that may be web application firewall or next generation firewall, or maybe HADS, HAPS, NADS, NAPS, even SIM tool as well. Okay. Now severity of the alerts. What are the severity of the alerts it contains related to web application firewall? Critical. Next one is a high. Next one is medium. Next one is low. And finally informational. So these are all the different types of severity of the alerts. It's similar to like EDR and similar to like our vulnerability management tool, whatever we discussed part of VM or VA. Next one is risk score for alert notifications. All different types of risk score it will be generated. For critical alerts, it will be 80 to 100, same as it is. For high, if it is 60 to 80. For medium, if it is 40 to 60. For low, it is 20 to 40. Finally, informational info. So it is 0 to 20. So these are all the risk score for the different types of alert notifications. Okay. Now, who are all vendors are existing in the market? Vendor side. Vendors are tools. We have first and foremost Akamai. Now it is becoming very, very popular. Almost all the organizations, they are purchasing this Akamai tool itself. Okay. Second one is Barracuda, Imperva. One is Blue Coat. WebSense. Next one is Citrix. Next one is Portigate. WAF. Yes, someone said something.
IMP.
Yeah, fine, sir.
FI, yeah. IMD. IMD is not there.
AWS WAF.
Yeah, AWS WAF.
GCP web.
Yeah, GCP WAF.
Oracle WAF, Google WAF.
Azure WAF or application gateway. And OCI WAF.
Cisco, sir.
Yeah, there are so many. So now couple of companies what they're doing because of the resource constraint. So all these tools they are purchasing, and so respective support will be done with these companies itself. Okay, I'm repeating once again. So in case in our organization, if you have resource constraint and resources are not sufficient, resources is nothing but employees related to security team. Now, our traffic is monitoring by respect to companies itself. So ECOM is doing that one, is a very, very popular one. So all the web application traffic and all the DOS and DDoS traffic, they will monitor for the clients or customer side as well. For that one, they will charge some money, like a support kind of thing. So that is also possible. If you have the resources and if you have sufficient employees to monitor application traffic and DOS traffic, so we can purchase the tool and we can deploy our organization level, and finally we can monitor ourselves. So it depends whether we have budget or not. According to that one, we can go and we can deploy and we can monitor. In case budget not existing or money is not available, then we can give these particular contracts to vendor itself. So then vendor will monitor the traffic on behalf of us, and whenever any alerts will come, then they will take care of the respective instant investigation side. Now, WAF logs integration to SIM tool. WAF logs integration to SIM tool. First of all, what are the log sources? Okay. What are the methods it will support? So WAF logs, we can use two different types of log integration method. For hardware side, hardware module, we can use syslog server method. This one already we discussed part of our previous class. For offline class, for online class, I did not complete yet. Okay. So for online classes, I will take separate session on this one. So how to integrate the logs and what is syslog server method and what is web API token method, that I'll explain later. For hardware module, if you want a hardware module of the WAF, if you want to integrate, now we can use syslog server method. So we have to log into the web application firewall. Then we have to go to the settings or administration tab. And then we have to click on the syslog server option. Then we have to specify whatever tool if you want to integrate. SM tool, that SM tool name, SM tool IP address, SM tool host name, and the protocol is a TCP, and port number is 514, that is syslog port number, and log format. So whatever logs it is generating. Example, syslog is a format. So then automatically our application logs, it will go to the SIM tool. In case logs are not reflecting, then we have to go to, we have to do debug or troubleshooting of the logs, why it is not reflecting in the SIM tool. Okay, that we can discuss for online class people. All offline class already discussed how to integrate the logs in syslog server method, and second API token method. Second one is SaaS based module. Or SaaS based web application firewall logs, how we can integrate using API token method. So we have to make a API secret key and okay, so URL token or URL link, and we have to generate those two in our web application firewall. Then we have to take that particular, okay, so token URL link related to API and secret key or password. Then we have to go to our SIM tool. In the SIM tool, we have to go to administration settings. Then we have to specify token URL as well as username and password. Then automatically SIM tool will pull the logs from respective web application firewall side. Same thing in case our SaaS based web application firewall logs are not coming or not reflecting in the SIM tool, and then we have to troubleshoot or debug what is the issue using Wireshark network traffic analyzer. Okay. So these are the two methods it will be supported by our web application firewall. In case if you are using cloud environment as a web application firewall, then we have to use cloud connector method. Okay. So cloud connector is like a third party vendor. It's like a broker or mediator or bridge or gateway between our cloud service provider to our SIM tool. That is called connector. Connector means what? Connecting between two different types of devices. That is called connector, right? So connector is also called as a gateway or bridge or broker or mediator. So this particular device from AWS resources, example, you are using AWS WAF in your organization level, all those WAF logs, it will come to cloud connector. From cloud connector using syslog server method using port number 514, it will go to SIM tool. So that is called cloud connect method that we can discuss later. So third one, if it is AWS WAF or any cloud service provider WAF, CP. CSP, cloud service provider CSP, WAF logs, how we can integrate using cloud connector method. So a couple of cloud connector vendors are existing like a Portigate or Sky Formation or Oracle or IBM or HP. So these are all the different cloud connectors. They are developing these cloud connectors to integrate all the cloud service provider logs to our SIM tool. So these are the three different types of log integration we can use to integrate our web application firewall logs to SIM tool. So that's all about overall. So web application firewall. If you want to configure web application firewall or any EDR tool or any Nessus tool or any next generation firewall tool or any SIM tool, so what are the couple of basic things we have to do? Okay. So example, WAF implementation, WAF or EDR or SIM tool or DLP or next generation firewall. Okay. Then HADs, HAPs, file integrity monitoring, all these tool implementation. Generically, I'm giving, but couple of things it will be changed here and there. But all the tools almost it is equivalent, but little bit configuration it is different based on the functionality or feature whatever it is doing. So first and foremost, if you want to integrate web application via firewall, so what we have to do, we have to assign one of the IP address to that particular tool. So assign the IP address. So this IP address, what we have to do, we have to map to our host name. So our fully qualified domain name. So why we have to map this host name or fully qualified domain name? For easy remembering purpose. Okay. So map to host name or FQDN name, fully qualified domain name. For example, I purchased one like Akamai tool, Akamai web application firewall tool, or CloudStrike EDR tool, or Digital Guardian DLP tool, or Palo Alto Next Generation Firewall tool, or IBM QRadar SIM tool. In that scenario, how I have to map this particular Akamai or CrowdStrike or Nessus or Palo Alto or Digital Guardian or IBM QRadar. So we have to assign the respective Akamai IP address is, for example, 10.10.10.1. So based on the location wise, if you are configuring, that is easy for us. This IP address now, so I will map to. So example, my office is located in Bangalore location. Then I will give like Akamai WAF BNG Bangalore.com. So this is the way how I will map now 10.10.10.12. That is IP address of the Akamai related hardware device or SaaS based tool. And how I'm mapping this particular IP address. Just mapping is not a host name or computer name or system name. Whenever if you want to configure your mobile or your laptop also, if you want to configure your laptop or mobile, it will ask what is the name of the device if you want to give, or computer name if you want to give. We'll give our names, right? In this similar way, so web application firewall or EDR tool, easy remembering purpose. So we have to give the names so that it easy for us to go and so click on the URL link, which device I'm accessing. If I'm giving everything is IP address, how can I remember so many IP address? So if you want to log in, it's very difficult for me to identification purpose, right? So that is the reason we have to map our IP address to the respective fully qualified domain name or host name. So now if I'm giving Akamai WAF BNG meaning here, okay, this is Akamai web application firewall for Bangalore location. So it is easy for me. But if I want to remember 10.10.10.1, it's very difficult for me as a human being, right? So that is the reason always it's better we can give the respective, okay, so fully qualified domain name or host name or computer name to map IP address to the FQDN name. So that is the first thing we have to do. After assigning the IP address, now what we have to do, we have to assign subnet mask. So what is subnet mask here? So what is the IP address you are allocating? It's a class A or class B or class C or class D or class E. According to that one, we have to define the subnet mask also. For class A, always it will come 255.0.0.0. So this is the class A subnet mask. After assigning this one, now what for every tool, as I said,
Integrate
WAF,
with
yeah, every tool, whether it's a WAF or ADR or SIM tool or DLP or next generation firewall or any other tool. So we have to integrate with couple of servers. Those servers are primary DNS example. So in the primary DNS server, in my organization, maybe if I am using, so IP address like a 10.10.10.2. So that is the IP address I have to configure in the Akame web application firewall. If it's SIM tool, in the SIM tool, we have to configure this one. If it's ADR, we have to configure this one, the ADR. So every organization will maintain the two different types of DNS servers. One is a primary, second one is secondary, like a backup kind of thing. In case primary is going down, secondary will come into picture, right? So secondary DNS server IP address is 10.10.10.3. Now I integrated primary DNS server and secondary DNS server to Akame web application firewall. Now we are discussing about example one of the tool implementation, how we can do and what we can do. After integrating that one, if you want this information also, you can contact the respective DNS team to get DNS details. Please contact network admin or DNS team. So they will provide what is primary DNS server IP address and what is secondary DNS server IP address. After integrating primary DNS server and secondary DNS server, we have to integrate the Active Directory also. Active Directory, this is also called LDAP integration. So LDAP integration, if you want to get LDAP related details, we have to ask a couple of related, what is the common name or what is the domain name? Next one is what is the IP address, what is the username and what is the password? So these four things we have to ask from the respective Active Directory team. So every organization it will maintain the Active Directory team as well. So the team name is called as sysadmin team to get Active Directory related details. Contact Windows admin or sysadmin guys. Then they will give respect to our Active Directory related details like a CN name, example tcs.com. Common name or domain, we can say domain name as well. Common name or domain name, example tcs.com. Next one is Active Directory IP address. So I'll keep like a 10.10.10.4. This is the IP address. Username of the Active Directory. Always we have to give admin. Next one is password. So we have to ask password also. So password I will keep XX at X. And next one is port number. So always it's better to give LDAP port number either 389 or 636. If it is LDAP 389, if it is LDAP 636. So this is called Active Directory integration part. So this is DNS server integration and this is Active Directory integration. So far we integrate two different types of servers. One is Active Directory, second one DNS server. In the similar way, even we have to configure SMTP server also to get the notification whenever any issues will occur or related to incidents or alerts notification part. So SMTP server also called email integration part. So these details we have to get it from respect to email team and admin, Outlook admin team or email admin team or SMTP server admin team or UCS admin team or Exchange server admin team. It depends on which organization and which team name we are using. So SMTP IP address, SMTP server IP address. Next one, SMTP username, password. Next one is we can give port number. 25.
25.
Yeah. So these are all, and even you have to give the email notification also, email address. So whether if you want to receive the web application firewall related alerts, example wap@tcs.com. Okay. Now in the Bangalore location, for TCS company, I am implementing Akamai web application firewall. That is the overall conclusion part. So that is about how to receive the email related notification. If you want to get these details, now we have to contact to get email details. We have to contact email admin or Outlook admin or Exchange server admin or UCS admin. So these are the couple of people we have to contact to get all these details. Okay, it's a coordination collaboration with other team members, other stakeholders. So that is about SMTP or email server integration. Next one, what we have to do. So we have completed basic details now. So these are the basic details we have to configure to each and every tool related to implementation from the scratch. If you are giving one of the, okay, so hardware device empty without, okay, so configure anything from the scratch, we have to implement all this. That is called implementation basically. So what is implementation team will do? So either it's a cloud-based tool or on-premise hardware device module. If you want to configure, so these are the basic things we have to configure from the scratch. That is called implementation side. So after that, we have to configure policies as well. So policies, which policies we have to configure? Policies related to whatever we discussed related to WASP top 10. All WASP top 10 related policies we have to configure. Already I given above as well. You can see policies. Example, SQL injection attack, cross-site scripting attack, broken authentication, broken access control. All these different types of policies we have to configure. Okay. And if it is a hardware device, additionally, what we have to do, if it's a dedicated hardware, action also we have to configure here itself. Action also we have to configure here itself. If it's a hardware device, then we have to connect physical interfaces as well. Physical interfaces. Physical interfaces we have to configure. So that physical interface, how to connect? Please go and recollect network architecture diagram. One of the connection we are giving to ISP router, web application firewall. One of the connection we are giving to next generation firewall. One of the connection we are giving to proxy. One of the connection we are giving to NADS and APS. In such a way, we have to configure interfaces and physical RJ45 Ethernet cable connections we have to give. Okay. So if I want to show that one, give me 1 second. WAF hardware module. Cloud, we no need to configure all these. Can you see F5 hardware module? Application Security Manager. Yeah. I'll go back. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Sir.
Yeah. So this is basically WAF, F5 WAF. A couple of interfaces are there, right? One of the interface is a management interface to manage the device through remotely or virtually. There is no need to go to the data center or on-premise or site. And from there, we can monitor by connecting our laptop to this particular device, what I'm sharing the screen. So one of the interface we have to configure is a management interface or management console. What the management console name I given in my Excel sheet? This management console name, example. What the name I given? Management console name. Management console name I given Akamai WAF Bangalore.com.
Yes.
So this is called Akamai WAF Bangalore.com. It's a management console. So now example, this particular, okay, so device is deployed in the SB Bank Mumbai location. Now, if I situated or located in Bangalore or maybe in the Hyderabad location, so now how I can monitor that particular device or how can access the device? Through management console. Already I have shown for offline people, vulnerability management tool, yeah, management console. I'm not sure how many people remember this one. So here, this is called management console basically. If you want to configure management console, we have to configure that interface as well. Without configuring the interface, we can't access the device from the remote or virtual side. So this is called management console. How we can configure, how we can access this one? HTTPS colon www.ecomy wafbng.com. So this is the URL link I have to give. And after that, once you are clicking on that URL link, okay, so now it will ask username and password and finally login button. Okay, so whoever has the access to that particular device, those people only can access the device. That means we have to configure that username as well, right? So if you want to access this device through remotely, in the hardware side, one of the interface we have to configure as a management console. For that one, we have to define HTTPS or HTTP. Most of the case, HTTPS, it's a 443 port number. And after that, all these interfaces is called as Ethernet interfaces. That Ethernet interface may be optical fiber interface, or maybe it is RJ45 Ethernet interface as well. RJ45 it will support up to 1 GB. If it's greater than 1 GB, we can use optical fiber communication part. So as per network architecture diagram, please recollect the network architecture diagram in your mind. One of the interface we are giving to the next generation firewall, one of the interface we are giving to our ISP router, one of the interface we are giving to proxy, one of the interface we are giving to NADS and APS. So from this connection, I have to give to next generation firewall. From this connection, I have to give to ISP router. From this interface, I have to give to the our proxy. From this interface, NADS and APS. From this interface, we have to give to the core switch. So this is the way how the interface should be deployed to monitor inbound application traffic and outbound application traffic. So that is called interfaces configuration part. Just we have to select either Ethernet or fast Ethernet. Fast Ethernet means more than 1 GB. Ethernet means less than 1 GB. So that two options we have to select. Okay, so interfaces we have, after connecting that one, then automatically based on the policy by default in-depth or inbuilt, sorry, by default or inbuilt detection methods will be there. So the detection method, we no need to enable anything. We have to enable only policies. We have to enable policies and we have to enforce the policies. And detection methods in the hardware device at the time product development itself, respect to companies, they can build backend program development in such a way automatically it will detect based on the signature based and based on the machine learning capability. Okay, and also if you want to give the access to the respective people like users, then we have to go to settings. The settings, one of the options will be there. Under the settings, we have to create users. Then we have to create the user admin. User groups. And then we have to integrate with any other third-party SSO single sign-on tool. We can give that one option also. And whenever you're creating users, basically you have to give the username and password. Username, it's based on your email address or based on your unique name of first name along with surname. And password we have to generate. After that, they can change the password, what are default we given. Okay. So user groups means whether you are part of L1 team or L2 team or L3 team. So that user groups also we can create. Otherwise, it's an admin team or super admin team. So these are the different types role-based access control we have to configure. Okay. So settings part here. Next one, even we can configure authentication mechanism as also. Authentication, how we can connect, whether it is a SAML authentication mechanism or OpenID Connect or OAuth 2.0. So most of the SAML we can use. It's very simple basically. So that is authentication mechanism. So these are all the different types of settings we can configure. So this is part of our L1 example, L2 and L3 and admin as well. So this is basically how we can do implementation. In case you are using high availability in your web application firewall side, in case if you are using web application firewall as a high availability, now we have to configure high availability option as well. So high availability we can configure in the different options like active passive or active active. Most of the cases we can use active passive. Why? Because active active for configuring. So two different types of devices. So what is high availability? Basically to configure two different model number of the devices, two same model number of the devices. First one it will act as a primary, second one it will as a backup. If one thing is going down, second one will come into picture. So that is called high availability basically. So here two identical models with the same OS. Otherwise, it will not work out. And which one it will act as active and which one it will act as a passive. Always active will become higher than secondary one. So precedence or election settings. So always primary web application firewall is greater than secondary web application firewall. So why you are using battery backup? What is the reason? Reason.
One
Battery.
goes down.
Yeah. One goes down, second one will come into picture and we can continue second one. In case our mobile is going to die in that scenario, so charging is completely going to die or charging is going to down, then I can use a backup to connect the charger so that I can make a calls to others. Same way, if one web application firewall is going down, second web application firewall come into picture, and then it will monitor, it will alert, it will block, or it will allow the respective application traffic. So that is the reason we have to configure web application firewall or next generation firewall always a high availability. So that particular high availability, how we can configure.
How this failover happens?
Yeah,
like
correct.
One is down,
Yes,
then failover.
whenever down will it's happened, then second will come into picture.
So no,
Yeah.
for second, I mean for backup, this one Akamai also. I mean configuration should be done as same as
it is. First, you can configure one firewall from the scratch.
Okay.
Take a backup file, just import on this backup. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because two identical. Okay, so model numbers, two
Yeah.
identical OS.
Same configuration.
So yeah, same configuration.
Yeah.
First, you can complete for primary related web application firewall. Take that particular backup file, then import on the secondary backup. Backup web application firewall. Just you can change the IP address, and second one is host name. That's it. Those two things we have to change.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, I can show all these things practically when we are going to discuss about next generation firewall, all this practical way. So, but these configurations are common for whether it is SIM tool, whether it is EDR tool, whether it is a vulnerability management tool, whether it is a DLP tool, whether it is web application firewall tool, any tool, these settings are common. Only, okay, so different things we can configure from tool to tool, policies mainly. So, and also second one is, so whatever functionality it is working as, these two things only, it will be different, but unless otherwise remaining all the configuration settings are same as it is. Okay.
What
So
about
in
the
the
VM tool, EDR tool, and we do have backup? I mean redundancy like this, like
no. EDR for everything you are maintaining the backup in that scenario. So our budget will go very high, and it's very expensive solution. And whatever profit we are getting, everything we have to spend it on the tools itself.
So not required for SIM tool.
Not required.
VM.
Yeah.
Okay.
SIM tool is required, but
Okay.
mainly our internal endpoint side it's not required. Wherever DMZ and perimeter level we are deploying the tools, because most of the attacks will come through perimeter side. So that is the reason in the perimeter side we can use web application firewall and also next generation firewall. These two are compulsory. High availability is a mandatory.
Oh, okay.
But next generation firewall must be high availability is required. Whether WAF is required or not, completely our choice and our budget related part.
Oh,
EDR, it's not mandatory, but SIM tool, yes, it's a mandatory. Why? Because if SIM tool is going down, same time, whenever any incident it's happened, it will not give alert notification.
yeah.
Then something it will get compromised. So SIM tool also mandatory.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So in case anyone will ask, do you know how to implement web application firewall, how to implement EDR tool, how to implement SIM tool? You can say all these basics. That's fine. You can go and you can learn after that. That's okay. Okay. So as I said earlier also, first 1 year you can work on the investigations. How long you can work in 24/7? So after certain age, it's okay, but you are crossing more than 30 years, it's difficult for us. So then you can go to implementation side, then you can go to architect side and manager and so on. So that is the way how the ladder will be increased career growth as a career growth point of view. Yeah, so that is about basic implementation. I said full implementation we can discuss part of our next generation firewall part. There I will show each and every tab how to do and what to do, but these are all common things for most of the tools. Okay, so that is about WAF part. Next one, in case I do have, I think WAF. Let me try to show in practical way. Next one is last topic in our application security. It's a WASP top 10. I'm not going to discuss about SANS top 25. Why? Because whatever SAST, DAST, penetration testing, if you're doing, we will not 100%. I mean, 99% of the organization, they are following WASP top 10 only, because it's like a benchmark. Everybody will use this benchmark only to do any scanning or any penetration testing or any code scanning part, any TPS scan or any DAST scan. Okay, so against WASP top 10 only. So SANS top 25 is not that much familiar as compared to WASP top 10. Very popular framework every organization is using all over the worldwide or across the globe is WASP top 10. That one we are going to discuss. WASP top 10. So WASP, it's an organization. The full form is open. So open, basically open web application security project. So it is an institutional organization. So that is the reason we have to add in front of this one the or the open web application security project. So what this organization or institution it will do? So it will conduct survey. So that survey also not like static in nature. It is a dynamic in nature. It's not fixed way how they are conducting survey. So it is an institution organization. They will conduct some survey like a sampling theorem. And finally, they will make top 10 application layer 7 attacks. That is called WASP top 10 or layer 7 attacks as per YSA reference model. So that is called WASP top 10. So how we can define this one? It is an institution or organization will conduct survey and it will provide WASP top 10 category of the attacks. Okay, so this is also called as application layer 7 attacks. So that is called WASP top 10. So when they conducted initially survey in 2010, initial survey, and they made it as a top 10 attacks. Later they conducted survey in 2013. Later they conducted in 2017. And most recent one is 2021. So these are the different types of surveys it's conducted by our WASP organization. 2013, 2010, 2013, 2017, and most recent one 2021. So you can see from 10 to 13, 3 years gap is existing. From 13 to 17, 4 years gap is existing. From 17 to 21, 4 years gap. So that's what I said. it is not like a same manner they are following. Initially 3 years, later 4 years, later 4 years. Maybe I'm expecting next year once again they will do survey and they will give the top 10 results. So there is no specific pattern or condition how they are conducting the survey. Okay. So now whatever we are going to discuss about top 10 attacks are belongs to WASP top 10 in the year of 2021. So I'll put here as well 2021. So those attacks are, I can open and I can share the screen as well. So as per 2021, first one is broken access control, A01. A01 means here application attack 01, broken access control. Next one A02, cryptographic failures. Yesterday only we discussed about cryptographic failure. In case if there is weak broken access control meaning here, so whatever respective credentials you are giving, that may be user access or admin access, first attacker will compromise user access. From there, he will try to compromise admin access. It's like a one-type privilege escalation attack. What is privilege escalation attack? Attacker will gain initially user level access. From there, attacker will gain higher level of the access by using scripts or commands. So that is called privilege escalation attack. So broken access control meaning also same here. So attacker will first compromise user. From there, he will try to compromise our admin part. So that will form broken access control. It is one type of man in the middle attack as well. So next one is cryptographic failures. In case if there is weak ciphers in our certificates related to SSL TLS, like weak hashing algorithms or weak ciphers, so this particular attack it will appear. So that is A02. This is topmost attack after conducting survey. Next one A03. So it's injection fly attack. Injection fly attack, it will include, there are so many injection fly attack like SQL injection attack. Next one is LDAP injection attack, HTML, JavaScript, PHP, even cross-site scripting also. In 2017 survey, cross-site scripting attack is A07. But as per A03, 2021 survey, injection attack is by default cross-site scripting attack also. Not only just it's a SQL or LDAP. So I can put cross-site scripting also here. Injection and cross-site scripting. So there are different type of injections we can do, and there are different type of scripts also we can enter. So that is about third one. Next one, insecure design. So most of the companies in the design point of software architecture diagram. So that may be HLD or LLD or data flow diagram, DFD or SDD, solution design document, whatever they are creating for the application design or software architecture diagram. So the design said there are so many issues from the security point of view. If you mitigate this particular issue, we can do threat modeling. I am not sure how many people remember this concept. Threat model is Microsoft's Stride analysis or PASTA or DREAD analysis. But very, very popular one is Microsoft Stride analysis. And we have two different other threat modeling sessions also, or frameworks. One is PASTA, second is DREAD analysis as well. So that is A04. That's why we have to implement each and every level. So each and every phase of the SDLC life is security basically. Next one is security misconfiguration. This yesterday entered a question. What is security misconfiguration? Meaning here, whatever I said just now, how to implement a web application firewall or EDR tool, if you are configuring wrongly by mistake or by type error, or if you don't know how to configure, also that is mistake, right? Security misconfiguration. Instead of giving 10.10.10.4, I given 10.10.5. That is one type of misconfiguration only. And whatever voice top 10 policies I enabled, instead of the action I defined as a block, I give an alert. That is security misconfiguration. So that is topmost 5 level. A06. Next one. Vulnerable and outdated components. So as per SDLC life cycle, in the development level, we are doing two different types of scans. One is SAST or SCA, static application security testing or static composition analysis. So second scans also we are doing, that is called third party scans, TPS, right? So third party meaning here, whatever libraries or packages we are using, either open source or commercial for application development side, those versions, whoever application development are developing, that is outdated, like end of life or end of support, and vulnerable versions are existing. It's not up to date. So this is nothing but TPS basically. It's a part of development level, second scans, not code scanning, libraries and packages point of view. This one we can consider in our server side vulnerability management. Okay. A07, next one. Identification and authentication failure. So whatever username and password you are giving, wherever input is required for the initial page of the login screen of the application, that user identity is failing and also authentication is failing. They don't have proper authentication, and also they are not implementing complex or strong password policies with multi-factor authentication. So that is topmost one of the seventh attack as per WASP top 10. It is conducted on 2021. Next one, A08. It's a part of software and data integrity failure. What is software we are developing? So that particular data code scanning, basically software and data integrity failure. We don't have sufficient controls wherever code we are developing, that repository, whether GitHub or Purpose or SVN or Azure related development branches, who is doing what? Someone is changing the code or adding the code or tampering the code. So that particular development side, we are not implementing segregation of duties or else role-based access control. So that is part of A08. A09, next one, security logging and monitoring. Meaning here is indirectly whatever applications we are developing in our organization level, those applications logs are not integrated into SIM tool. And most of the organization basically, even though they do have SOC, but they're not monitoring the applications. Okay. Even though they have the respective SOC, they're not integrating all these applications to our SIM tool. So that is called security logging and monitoring. Okay, missing out. So that means we have to integrate all the application logs to SIM tool, and we have to create a correlation rule or use case for the application top 10 or SANS top 25 attacks as well. Okay, so that is the ninth one. Finally, A10. It's a server-side request forgery, SSRF attack. Server-side request forgery. So this is attacker will try to spoofing or tampering or impersonating the server, and whenever any end user is giving the request on behalf of the server, so now end user will attacker will respond back to the client. So that is called server-side request forgery. How is it possible? For already connection will be established. Okay, so attacker will use URL manipulations, URL redirections, and also token based. Last one is deface websites. So yesterday we were discussing about SSL TLS mutual authentication. If you don't use SSL TLS certificate, we don't know whether it is sending by HDFC Bank server or whether it is by directly attacker. That is one type of server-side request forgery itself. Public key sending. Okay, part of MTLS authentication we discussed. right? So these are all the attacks will fall under the WASP top 10. And how, based on what parameter, these WASP top 10, they enumerated or they identified. As I said, it's a survey. Survey meaning here, WASP institution, it will go to Wipro and they will ask, in 2023, what is the top 10 attacks you observed? Then they will go to Infosys and they will ask, what is the top 10 attacks you observed? Then they will go to maybe HCL and they will ask, what are the top 10 attacks you observed? It is called sampling theorem, right? We can take couple of samples and finally we can give a summary. Same way, we can conduct survey from couple of companies and we can make a summary. So that is called basically, okay, so how these top 10 attacks made. For every company, for taking and going and observing top 10 attacks, it's very difficult for us. And even the 1 year will spend, it's difficult to going and contacting every company, difficult. So that is the reason they will conduct survey and finally they will make top 10 attacks. Okay. Example, if I am the part of WASP top 10 organization, I'm an employee, then I will come to you and I will ask, in 2023, what are the top 10 attacks you observed? I will ask maybe example Ashok, I will ask maybe example Krishna, I will ask maybe example Latifa, I will ask example maybe Rani, and I'll ask Ram and so on. Then finally, I will make an overall summary. That particular attacks is called as a top 10. In the similar top 25, that is SANS. SANS is one of the institution. They will also conduct survey and finally they will make top 10, top 25 attacks. Okay. So that is about overall attacks and how these attacks basically depend based on which parameter. It's based on CWE score. CWE score. So each and every attack has CWE. It's common weakness exploitation. CVID. A0 is one CVID. CWID. A02 is CWEID. A03 CWEID and so on. We discussed about CVE, common vulnerability exposure. That is different. Common vulnerability exposure, it's a part of server scanning or vulnerability management. Okay. So CW is a part of application side. What is CVEID we discussed? For every vulnerability, it has one of the unique ID. That unique ID we can call it common vulnerability exposure ID. That is a part of server scanning or vulnerability management. So now we are discussing about application security. Application security side, we can call it a CWID, common weakness exploitation. Okay, so that is CWID. So this is also one of the interior question. What is the difference between CVE versus CWE? CW is for application side, CV is for server scanning side. Okay. So that is our WASP top 10. In-depth analysis we can discuss in the tomorrow class at 10 o'clock. So tomorrow 10 o'clock I will take online class. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today, guys. I will share the link by tomorrow morning. So what is the class we discussed in the today? We discussed about what is WAF, what is the licensing option, what are the policies we have to configure, what is the deployment, what detection methods, what is severity of the alerts, what is the risk score, and who all vendors are existing. And we discussed about how to do implementation. And finally, we started WASP top 10. It's not completed yet. Tomorrow I will start. It will take 2 more sessions to complete WASP top 10. Any doubts do you have? Yeah, this video I can upload within the half an hour for both online drive as well as offline drive. Any doubts?
No, sir.
No,
Okay,
sir.
then. Okay, then thank you so much. And tomorrow morning class at 10 a.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. IST.
Thank you, sir.
For everyone, it's for online as well as offline.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Good night.